Hi guys, what we're looking at here is one of my old charity shop finds. 2015 I found this one. Cost me £1.50 in a charity shop, and it is the amazing clock kit. Build your own real wind-up clock. The Happy Puzzle Company, and it does do what it says on the box. You put the bits together and you've got a working clock. Now, unfortunately, like many of my charity shop finds, there's a few bits missing. There's enough there to get it working almost, except it's missing the pendulum. Now, I did make myself one out of a bit of plywood, and then later I changed it to a bit of plastic, so that's all you actually need for the pendulum, which hangs out the back, and it works. And I'll put a link in the video description to the video where I put it together back in 2015. Got the full instructions with it, which is always handy. There's the pendulum. It's adjustable in length as well, so you can adjust the timing. Anyway, as luck would have it, I think it was last year, it might have been, I found another one in a different charity shop that was complete. And I kept it for a little while, but then decided I didn't need two, so I gave it away again. But before I gave it away, I did draw round the pendulum, and also the little hammer thing that makes the bell ring, because that's missing as well. And now I have a 3D printer, don't I? So I've 3D printed a replacement. Now I've had to guess a bit, because although I drew around it, I didn't make a note of how thick it was or how heavy it was. So I think I've actually made this too heavy. I don't know whether the dimensions will be perfect, because I've worked off where I've just drawn around it. But we'll give it a try. The worst case scenario is I can adjust it and print it again, which is the curse of the 3D printer. You can keep doing it. You can waste so much of this filament just redoing minor little changes. Anyway, let's see if we can put it together and see if those bits might fit. I'll probably have to trim them out a little bit, whether the holes are the right size. So silver bell, large clear stopper, that's in place. Silver hammer, which is going to be this piece. Goes on there. Oh, it's a little bit tight. It just needs a little bit of cleaning, so I'll just clean that out a little bit. Still feel it's a little bit tight. Probably not heavy enough either because it's only plastic. I expect if it was metal it'd have more weight to it. Still not happy with that. I'm going to drill it out. Okay, right, that piece is going to go in there with okay. I'm trying to get away without redoing all these bits because half of them are in place. Red wheel, white wheel, yellow wheel in the right order. It goes through there. It goes through there. Put that there, yes, that's already in place. Oh, we haven't got a little cover to go on that to hold that in place. Oh well, leave that for now. Green wheel, yes. Pink wheel. And there. Yes. This one goes that way up. And there. Yeah. And there should be a little cover to go on that to stop that coming off. That's missing. There's quite a few little bits missing. I didn't realise there was quite so many, but these are only, well, the bits to stop it falling off. Okay. So I've done that. Put that over the top. Yeah, there should be a piece to go over there to hold that in place. And there should have been a bit on the hammer to hold that in place. So might have to do a bit more 3D printing, but I'll worry about that later. Hour hand, that way, minute hand, that way, and that piece goes on there. Flip the clock over, that piece in there. Oh, it's fallen off already. Worry about that later. That piece goes over there. Okay, and then the bit that we fixed, the pendulum, comes over there, and that hole's not quite big enough. Always a problem when you're doing inside and outside measurements. Oh, I can see the PLA's melted a little bit. I'll trim that out with a knife. Alright, I've trimmed the hole a little bit. So that fits on there. And that's going to go on there. And I've made that a little bit loose. Could have made that tighter. I think it's going to be much too heavy anyway. So I'm probably going to have to reprint that. Use a little bit of blue tack to make it stick. Oh, and of course it needs a clip on the outside of it to stop it falling off, which I don't have. Okay, well, I think we have a few problems there. Ah, it was tight at the top. That was too tight. I'll open that one out a bit then. Still a bit tight. That is much too heavy. Let's just try with a bit of weight, now I get some idea of how heavy it needs to be. No, that's still tight. Ah. Right, so that one is much too heavy, I think. And we need a little cap to go on the end there. Right, we need a little cap for there. Where else do we need a little cap? Somewhere else. That one needed a little cap. That's rocking around. And we need a little cap for the bell hammer. Okay, a bit more 3D printing. Right, I printed off a few more bits, modified them slightly. See if these will do what we want. Made that quite a bit lighter. I still think it's going to be too big, but we'll see. Right, I've made some little caps to go on bits in there, and those holes look too small. They're the correct size according to the program, but once it's printed them they seem to shrink a bit. Come on. Alright, so that one goes on there. And which of these two was it? Yeah, that's a bit tight. Well, it's supposed to be tight, but that's a bit too tight. Still too tight, gonna have to drill it out. Right, that's a bit tighter. Got a feeling that's going to catch on there now. So I might have to modify that again. Looks like it needed a bush to push it out a little bit from the back there. Keep it away from that gear. Well, we'll look at that later. Right, that's on, that's on. That goes on. This one should That one's a bit tight as well. Oh, this is very frustrating. So I'm making the right sized holes, but they're actually deforming in print. Right, I just warmed it up a little bit so it went soft so I could get that in there. Right, that's better, that supports that bit. We'll get there eventually. Okay, which way round did this go? That goes on there after. That goes on there. Okay, so that's in there. Oops, I've forgotten where that went. Oh yeah, I know. Because I've always used instructions to check. I'll put the hands on afterwards. That's got to sit over there. Right, I made the hole big enough this time. And then that one is supposed to go on there, and that's going to be too tight as well. Okay, that's going to stop that falling off. And then that little one is supposed to go on there to stop that one falling off, and I can see that hole's going to be too small. It on the floor. Right, try that again. Nope, still a bit too tight. If anything, that's too loose now. Okay. Where's that one? Oh, that goes on the hands. Come on. That's better. Yeah. So, my 3D pieces work, except I'm not sure about the bell. I think it goes on the quarter hours or something. It's not dropping. So after all that effort, that one's still playing up. I don't think I can get anything in there to poke it either. Can I just get it about... Well, I might be able to get something long and thin in there just to poke it down, because it seems to be stuck up at an angle at the moment. It should be down there. That's no good. It's not free enough. I'm going to have to take it apart and adjust that bit. I think it needs a bit of a shaft on it to hold it away from that gear. Push it over a bit. Apart from that, this bit's working, and I've made that a tight fit so I can adjust it. Yeah. Right, gonna have to reprint that bit. I didn't reprint that bit because that seemed to be alright. But it's not. Okay, that'll do. Well, as usual, I couldn't leave it alone. I've printed off another little bell hammer, or whatever we call it. should go there. Which was the bit that went on there? I don't remember now. Okay, so that's the one from there. Just want to hear if it'll actually make the bell ring. Not like that, it won't. Never quite right every time. I think I'll stop filming for a while I adjust it. Right, I think we've done it. Can we get it back together again? Again. Okay, that goes through there. I suppose on the positive side, I've taken it apart enough times now.
Be clever and doing it out of sequence. I think we're in. Okay. That bit goes on there. Handles back on, be handy, handy, ha 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 ha. Grandad just made a joke there. Okay, well, the only way to adjust it for time is to run it for a long time so you can see how far out it is. Because we don't have a second hand. So it'd be best to time it for an hour or so and see how close it is. Can we turn the handles? It's actually about 10 to 9. So, oh, I've gone too far. Quicker to take the hands off, I think. Yeah, I'll leave that for an hour or so and see how it is for actual time. But the good news is that everything I've put on there is now working. Because you could hear that bell tinging as we went round as well. So I'm going to claim that as a job done, a success. Well, did anybody notice my deliberate mistake? I've got the black gear in backwards. It wasn't making contact with all this lot round this side. So even though the timing mechanism was working, it wasn't connected to the handles. I thought it was funny when I was turning the handles round, they weren't meeting any resistance. And that was the reason why. They weren't connected. So I've just had to take it apart again. And that was why that thing was fouling on the black gear earlier, that hammer, because because the black gear was at the back instead of at the front. Probably can't see any of that, but that's what the problem was. So as usual, even though I followed the instructions, I wasn't following them properly. And I got it wrong again. So, and there is also a tooth missing on that black gear, so I may yet still have to do a tear down and a bit of printing to replace that black gear. Oh, we're fouling. Yeah, so we're back. The gears are in the right place now. So the the hands should turn. So I'll leave it over there and check it in an hour's time and see how far out it is. Then I can tell whether I've got to move the pendulum in or out to speed it up or slow it down. I won't do any more video on this tonight, but I have just set it right. The time is right according to that clock up there. So I'll have a look later on tonight and see whether it's gaining or losing. It does sound a little bit fast to me.
Thanks for watching. You'll find more information down in the video description. You might like to watch that video up there, and you might like to subscribe over there.